I don't know what I can possibly say after that introduction. Mr. Sherwin, Mr. Cole, Mrs. Wilson, trustee, alumni, parents, students, and guests, good morning. And a special, glorious good morning to the graduating class of 2003. You're looking mighty attractive after such little sleep. I know it's not printed in the program, but this part of the commencement exercise could be called the rigmarole. Now, you know what rigmarole is. Rigmarole is anything like, say, a graduation speech that delays your getting what you really want. I promise to keep the rigmarole to a minimum. Some of you may have seen the folder with all these sheets when I stepped up here. Please, fear not. Mrs. Markowski in my office typed this talk up for me, and I guess concerned for my eyesight, she bolded it in something like 20 font. The letters are as big as my fingers, and they're about 20 words to a page, so don't worry. Besides, Chris Smith told me that I had 15 minutes, actually, to give this talk, and I plan to do as he said. And speaking of Chris, I have one last head prefect duty for you, please. Would you keep an eye on the faculty to my left and right here and make sure they're not making funny faces or nodding off while I'm up here? I'm still senior master for a few more days. And there's one other little detail I have to take care of. Our graduating junior prefect asked if I wouldn't give her a shout out in my talk today. So here goes. Georgie Wolfer. Now that I've taken care of that obligation, actually, Georgie, I agree with you completely. It's easy to say goodbye, but it's mighty tough to walk away. In March, when Graham asked me if I would be the commencement speaker, an offer you understand I could not refuse, I mentioned this to my wife. Her quick response was, "Alan, whatever you say, don't tell them what they should do, tell them what they've done." Now that was an interesting notion, but I'd already begun thinking about a number of nifty talks that I could share with you today that would bring your careers at Westminster to perfect closure and launch you on your way. I could try to inspire you with the words of Teddy Roosevelt, who exhorted us to dare mighty things and to win glorious triumphs. Or I could speak to you of the importance of keeping promises in a world which has largely forgotten how to. Or I could embolden you to find that final place within you where you locate yourself and from which you should not budge no matter what encroachments. Or I could hot dog it a little and remind you of some of your readings at Westminster in Hamlet, Huckleberry Finn, the Canterbury Tales, or the Odyssey, and tell you that there are really only two stories that are told in all the world's literature. Someone goes traveling, or a stranger comes to town. Beginning today, you will be living both these stories, only these two stories. But I have a different story in mind, and a true one at that, which was told at another secondary school commencement. It went along these lines. Before David Letterman and Jay Leno, there was Johnny Carson, who hosted The Tonight Show for many, many years. A long time ago, he had on his show Baron Hilton, the founder of the Hilton hotel chain. Hilton personified the then new idea of a successful multinational U.S. corporation. And Carson spent much of the evening fawning over Hilton, making sure his audience knew what a genius this man was. Then came the moment of truth. Carson turned to Hilton and said, "So, Mr. Hilton, tell our audience the secret of your success." Hilton pondered for a moment or two, and then answered confidently, "You know, it is always essential that the shower curtain be placed inside the bathtub." The only point of this story is that you shouldn't put much credence in what anyone might tell you about how to succeed in life. You'll have to discover this on your own. In any case, I know enough about commencement addresses to say that you pretty much will forget or ignore anything I say here today about how to live your life, assuming I had the answers, which I don't, and assuming you were ready for them, which you aren't. "Do not look for final answers now," George Bernard Shaw wrote in a letter to a young poet. "They cannot be given to you because you have not yet lived them. It is a question of experiencing everything. For now, you must first live the question. Perhaps you will, gradually, without ever noticing it, find yourself experiencing the answers some distant day." So I find myself coming back to my wife's advice, as I usually do, persuaded that I should not speak of what you ought to be, but rather what you have been. But before I do that, permit me one personal interjection. In a letter Graham Cole sent to the parents in early spring, he expressed the view that this year has been, as he wrote, one of the best years in my 3 decades of boarding school experience. I think the people to the left and the right of me would agree that this has been one of the best years because of the leadership of the class of 2003. This is my 47th Westminster Commencement, which is to say, I've seen or witnessed 47 sixth form classes move through this school. And I want to go on record as saying that the class of 2003 has unquestionably been one of the very finest. But a bit more on that in a moment. My comments now are addressed quite specifically to the graduating class. The rest of you are more than welcome to listen in if you wish. When William Lee Cushing founded Westminster in 1888, he wrote that he wanted to help his young charges bear the yoke in youth. Now, I know you're all too eager to shed that yoke, put adolescence behind you, and move on to bigger and better things. And that's as it should be. But I want this morning to make a plea to you that you not change too much. There are a few of you, no doubt, who have at times been unkind, cheap, thoughtless, dishonest, or mean. I hope you will change. But most of you have gone about your business here with a limited amount of baloney and have dealt with people in a direct, decent, and cheerful way. Later, with your spouse, your kids, your boss, and all your dealings, don't change. You have tested yourself in the classroom, on the athletic field, on the stage, in the chapel. Thoreau wrote that in the long run, people hit only what they aim at. Therefore, though they should fail immediately, they had better aim at something high. All of you have, from time to time, aimed high, and in doing so, reached beyond the ordinary. Don't change. You have failed too at times, and at times you've been able to squeeze opportunity out of failure. The painter James McNeill Whistler produced paintings of great vitality, mystery, and beauty. Whistler, however, began as a cadet at West Point, like his father before him. During his junior year, he was dismissed from the academy for failing his chemistry exam. Had silicon been a gas, he said later, I would have been a major general. More often than not, you have chosen to be a learner from your failures, not a victim. Don't change. Most of you have acted in a way that suggests you understand that you don't need to get caught to do something wrong. Others of you have got caught, but acknowledged your responsibility and accepted the consequences graciously. In either case, don't change. Some of you did not confuse fault with responsibility. You picked up the trash on campus even though you didn't drop it. Don't change. All of you have learned to do things you didn't want to do. Many of you have resisted the trap of thinking it was okay to do what you wanted to do as long as no one was hurt. Some of you have begun to do what is right even if it hurts. Tell yourself, don't change. You've been under pressure here, lots of it at times, but most of you have not cheated or stolen. So when you become a lawyer or head up a corporation or go into politics or whatever, please don't change. Though most of you have not become scholars, you have been curious about learning, about discovering new things about yourself, your classmates, and the world around you. Only the curious, one poet said, have a tale worth telling at all. Don't change. You've respected your body as well as your mind. You've exercised and paid some attention to the nutritional offerings that Pat has dished out in the cafeteria line. Don't change. You have been open to surprises, not just those that delighted, but those that have brought a necessary end to illusion. There will be many more surprises. Don't change. You have been competitive in sports, extracurricular activities, and academics, but you haven't felt the need to stick both your fingers in the other person's eyes. You've put out a newspaper that was upbeat, positive, without arrogance or personal invective. Don't change. You have resisted the safety of the sidelines, gotten into the game, learned to work with others for the common good, and given yourself to something larger than yourself. Don't change. You have developed a healthy dose of self-worth, not by avoiding that which might hurt your self-image, but by knowing that your self-image could cope. Don't change. For nothing that can happen to you is half so important as the way in which you meet it. You have made lasting friendships here based on qualities of mind and character, transcending differences in background, color, or age. Don't change. You have been part of a community which believes that truth is not an opinion, that right and wrong are not up to the individual or to a time, a place, or a culture. The American writer Willa Cather said, "There are certain unalterable realities at the bottom of things." You have begun to get at the bottom of things. Your most important convictions and judgments are being shaped not merely by personal preference or emotional reaction, but by something deeper and more lasting. Don't change. You have been open and honest about your emotions. You have not tried to disguise them or hide them, but have let them show in a natural way. Don't change. Your parents are proud of you today, but they felt other emotions when they let you leave home to come to a world that has not always been lovely and comforting, to make your own way and your own mistakes. So when you get married and have kids and are anxious and worried about them, remember them and don't change. You have not been allowed to hide at Westminster. You've had to mix it up with all manner of people in all areas of your life here. You've been pulled outside yourself and have learned not to take yourself too seriously. You've laughed a lot, even at your own expense. Don't change. Whatever you do, hang on for dear life to your sense of humor. You will need it. But most of all, your life on the Hill has been characterized by camaraderie, by compassion, and by love. You have engaged in random acts of kindness. You've reached out to others in need, helping a homesick... All right, Jack? Helping a homesick new student, giving blood, organizing an MS walk. You have kept faith with that immensely intricate web of mutual obligation and trust that binds our school together. In all these ways, you have used your influence wisely and shown uncommon leadership. You have made life better in this community for little children, each other, for middle-aged folks like Mr. Newman and Mr. Werner, and for old geezers about to retire like me. You have been a class act. Don't change. Good luck and Godspeed.